Hello there and welcome along to another mixed martial arts conversation on Sky Sports YouTube. Very pleased to say as we look ahead to the trilogy fight between Daniel Cormier and the champion Stipe Miocic, we have a former UFC fighter, man from Gloucester, former middleweight contender, one of the pioneers. It is Mark the Wizard Weir. Mark, how are you doing? Looking forward to this one at the weekend?
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. It's also got a good card as well. It's got some upcomers as well. I'm looking forward to this one.
There's a lot to dissect, isn't there, in this one in terms of Cormier against Miocic. We'll get into that 1-1 in terms of the head-to-head so far in their meetings. But how do you see the legacy of this? People are talking greatest ever UFC heavyweight. Potentially the winner would be in that category. Maybe MMA, GOAT. Where do you see that? Who's in the conversation?
They're both going to be in the history books as well. So, but this certifies who's one of the greatest of all time. And when you set the standard, you want it to. If anyone's going to beat this record, you want someone to do it like years down the line, not in maybe not in your lifetime so much. But as a trilogy, and the main thing with trilogies, you look at it is how many rounds together these guys have fought. And when you look at it, there's some people like they call people in to train with them for a certain fight. They've had so much time together, they must know the feel, the familiarity of the way to punch, kick, or take down. This fight is going to be more who's a better strategist. Also the camp, who's got a better camp in that sense. Because I know Cormier's brought in some of his old friends as well. There's was Cain Velasquez, and he was number one time. And he's got Corey Anderson, who's also helping him out. And who else was it? I think it is. I'm not quite sure. Luke Rocco, that's it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's taken it seriously. He had to lose a lot of weight though, hasn't he, Cormier? Could that be an issue?
This is a make or break. This is the last for him. He can leave everything on the line. He can put everything on the line for this because this is his last one. It's weird though because to win a title and just give it up, to me, that's like sort of an insult because Miocic is ain't going to want to think that he's lost a title. He's going to have to fight for it again because of the commentary is very clever. The way he breaks things down when he's talking, I really find it very interesting. His detail, his eye for detail is very good. His mind's always on the game, and he's watching the progression of the sport. There's a lot of people leave the sport, and when they come back, they've been left behind because the sport's evolving, and his mind's not relaxing because he's constantly watching and dissecting for the public to allow that understanding to be better. So I think he's breaking down. He's obviously broken down as well with his camp as well. And I think he's ready, and he's got some of the toughest guys for the heavyweight in his training with him.
How do you analyse the psychological situation? Because obviously Cormier won the first fight, won the world title away from Stipe. It was an early knockout, wasn't it, in the first round? Then Stipe kind of broke him down in the second fight and added that variety with the body shots and things like that. Do you feel that maybe that Stipe is in the ascendancy psychologically because he maybe made adjustments that caught Cormier off guard?
Yeah, Stipe, I think for the first one, he thought he's going to watch out for the wrestling. I guarantee he was doing a lot of the escaping the takedowns against the cage. And then what did he come out and do? Knocked him out. So that was a shot. Now the second one, he ain't going to underestimate him on that side now. So he's probably preparing the second one for the whole game. But I realised later on down the line, especially after round 3, he started to he sort of loosened off and started to experiment a bit more. And when he started seeing the body shots are working, then he realised, oh, he's exposed there. So his danger is he seems to work people out as he's fighting, and that means that I think in the later rounds, I think that's where Daniel Cormier has to be more careful. Watch that he doesn't come out with something different because it wasn't the corner. It's actually he worked it out himself, which shows that he's a very diverse and a very intelligent fighter.
Cormier says that he's going to go back to his wrestling base. That was his history. That was a mistake for him. He got carried away from the first fight with his striking. It gave him maybe too much confidence to stand with. Do you think he's got the CV base to be able to wrestle for a long period of time in this fight, given his age as well? Because you fought deep into your 40s. How did you approach it differently as you got older? Did you have to maybe reserve yourself more?
A lot of people have got to understand this. Cardio doesn't make much difference. It's the mindset. What you're going to do when you fight, you've got to learn to relax. Relax in a way that you don't, not hyperventilate, but you don't get so nervous that it takes all your energy, your fighting energy off. So basically, you expel energy in small bursts. And that's why you find that some people, like our own English Michael Bisping, had cardio for days because he was always calm and only expelled when he needed to do it. And I think Cormier is so experienced. Think about it. He was Strikeforce champion before that. He was wrestling champion before that. He's got a lot of years of learning how to control his cardio. Basically, the amount of years of competing, I don't think he'd have a problem in that area.
Yeah, it's interesting. It would be a smaller cage as well, looking at the tactics.
Yes, that favours him, I think, that does.
Yeah, favours Cormier. Tell us why.
Well, if you think about it, he's going to want to be in close. For him to lose, I reckon it's going to be the long range. The body shots were long range as well, but also the jabs, the kicking, because he's very good on knees as well, isn't he, Stipe? So I think it's going to be long range. Daniel wants to come in. He wants to get that clinch. He does a single hand clinch, and he loves to do the uppercuts and hooks from there. And also from there, that allows him to take the person down. So if he is going to do more of the takedown, he's want to close him down and engage, which the cage being smaller means that he can't run so well. And so it's going to be more his favour for that.
I heard Josh Thompson analysing this fight as well. He was saying that the danger of going to the body early in the fight for Stipe is that he exposes the chin. Talk about the technicalities of that. Is that something that naturally does come on as the fight wears on, that maybe Stipe keeps out of trouble and then adds that variety?
Anybody, not definitely from a special camp, would know they're going to be working on how to cancel out those body shots. So to me, I reckon, because he's very, in his fight, he was doing some leg kicks, very good leg kicks. So I reckon DC should be throwing leg kicks either before he throws body shots, or as he's throwing the body shots, throw it just after. Because last time he did it, it took his balance off. That means he didn't get the delivery he wanted. So I think more leg kicks will be in his favour to take his base or the balance of, obviously, Stipe off. So he doesn't get that delivery in. If he does that, I think that's why I think also he was tired. So the body shots was harder to stop, counter in the later rounds. I think if he does it in the early rounds, he might have an answer for it. So I think most of the thing, to me, I think the danger is if he gets tired. Stipe is going to probably capitalise on it, and then he can start working out what area DC is going to have a weakness or flaw.
What have you made of Stipe Miocic in terms of his relationship with the UFC? Sometimes felt he's not had the respect and maybe the prestige that his
I think.
How do you see that?
He hasn't got the charisma in the way of the mouth. He's not really outspoken. He's not really loud. He reminds me a lot of my old mate Chuck Liddell. He's very, husky voice, very straight to the point. He's very thick set as well. But there's some people like Daniel Cormier. He's like, he can chat for hind legs off anybody, and he's very, analytical. He's very talks very much with the details and everything else. But Stipe is straight to the point. Actions speak louder than words. I think for him, he'll get the coverage he wants, but he's going to have to knock out a few more people, keep beating them, and they've got to be on his side. If they don't really push to promote him, it's not going to work. I think it's a double-edged sword.
Got a big height and reach advantage, and obviously he got in and he beat Francis Ngannou as well.
8 inches. 8 inches is that's a hell of a reach.
Yeah, do you think he keep Cormier off him this time? Could that be possible? Because obviously we've seen Cormier land even in the first and the second fight.
100%. Cormier would bob and weave a lot. So whether he's on a slip bag or anything, I know he's going to have to do a lot of bob and weaving to close him down. He's going to have to throw a lot of feints. He does a lot of pouring with the lead and overhand hooks, because his hook does a lot and closes him down. So I think his movement is going to be the key. He doesn't really move around footwork-wise, but it's his body movement to close him down. I think if he closes him down, he's using a cage, because the cage helps for the takedowns. So that would be in his favour. So I don't think he should be holding the centre too much. You know what I mean? It's like, I think he'll be pushing. If he hits the centre, he'll be pushing forward.
Yeah. Well, I love the tactics of it. What about Stipe in terms of what's left for him? Cormier says he'll retire. Stipe Miocic, what would be left for him to prove at the age of, I think, 37 after this?
I think he's got a few more years left. If you notice now, a lot of the fighters they're lasting longer, whether it's science or just the way everything's evolving. But he looks really strong and devastating. His power is increasing. So that's another element, Danny Cormier have to be careful of. is that his power is increasing, and that happens through consistent training, and also genetic-wise, the last thing to leave you is your power, your strength. Your cardio can leave you if you don't look after it, but the strength is what leaves you last. If you think about who was it that in the 50s knocked Michael Moore out? What's the name?
Oh, not George Foreman.
George Foreman, that's it, George Foreman.
Foreman won the world title at 45 in boxing. Yeah,
that's it. He's quite late anyway. But it's like that's the last thing that leaves you, the power. So it goes to show, don't underestimate anybody's power. So I think for longevity, I think because that's the thing, he's beaten a lot of people with his power. He could probably go on for another couple of years. I reckon if he does maintain the title, he can defend it a few more times. If he loses it, he can get it back and win it a few more times.
Who's your favourite heavyweight of all time? Because obviously he's got the record of most consecutive title defences for the heavyweight championship in UFC. But who's your favourite? People are torn on it, aren't they? It's about styles as much as records.
It's for history, but back in the day, it would have to be Randy Couture, because he went up and he just shocked me. He was like, what he did was not right. Do you know what I mean? That amazed me. And it would be Daniel Cormier now doing what he did. He had a double title at the same time. I like the people that do extraordinary things. And I like to put them on a pedestal and say, who's going to beat that? Who's going to top that?
The producer of these conversations sent me a link before we started recording and it was a comment from Javier Mendes, Cormier's coach, saying that he could see the retirement being kind of rubbed out and sort of put on hold, and if Jon Jones would fight Cormier again in a trilogy fight.
I'm not sure. I think that one's done now. I think there's too many, he's been beaten each time, but each time there's a black mark put on it, isn't it? It's like tested positive and one reason or another. I think I've had enough of that one, personally.
Because it's different than this trilogy, isn't it? Because this trilogy's got question marks.
It's just it was more upsetting. My son is a big fan of Jon Jones, absolutely amazing fan, and to see his face, he was so upset to see when it was overturned, and so I don't know. I think if he comes back and he behaves himself, and I think for the sport as well, because I was there when the sport was trying to break away from the era of being a thug sport, being a street fighting sport, and it doesn't help when champions do anything to tarnish it.
Get into trouble outside of the octagon.
I love Jon Jones, but I think he's a mark that off and just make a new run for himself and forget about Daniel Cormier, DC.
Do you think Jon Jones could be a successful heavyweight, or do you feel that his weight is naturally lower than those guys?
The thing I'd say, we haven't really ever seen him get hit. We don't know what his chin's like, do we? In heavyweight, we'd have to see what happens when he's taken down because of size and landed a few times. He should have a good chin, considering he hasn't gone through hard wars of being beaten up too much. That's what motivates you, the heavy fights.
Definitely. Well, give us your prediction then for this one, then the trilogy fight. Cormier against Stipe. Where do you go? Who wins 2-1?
Well, I think if it's a later rounds, I think Stipe Miocic is going to have the advantage because he seems to work him out as he goes along. Daniel, I think if you can get him a few takedowns, slam him a few times, beat him up, I think it'd be more earlier rounds. But he's going to have to catch him. I think if I was going to pick someone, I'd say, with all the fight camp, the hunger, it's your last one, I'd have to go with DC, Daniel Cormier, to win this. Just because it's so much, it's a legacy. You got a chance to make history, and it's I think I'd have to. And he's very intelligent. I'd have to go with that corner.
Okay, Daniel Cormier it is. Just tell us while you're here, Mark, how things are going for you and the coaching and people in Gloucestershire. Can they get involved in coming along?
It's good. The only problem, I get a lot of complaints because I can't fill my gym. Everybody's on they got to register. They're complaining about that. Everybody's trying to use the loyalty card. I've been with you for so long, Mark, but they got to understand they've got to pay the bills, and first come, first served. The ones that obviously payment wise, they're the ones I put forward first, and there's a lot of my close friends. I can't look after anybody. It is about, because if it's reduced numbers, that means it's a fine line because he's still paying for the lease of the premises as well.
Where's the gym, and where do people find out about it? Is there a website for it?
Yes, you can just put the Range Martial Arts in there and it'll come up. But it's in Gloucester, which is Gloucestershire is quite big for England. But it's at the moment I'm struggling. I've probably got enough people wanted to start which could fill the gym, and I'm turning them down. And I'm saying, look, I'm looking to start a separate class, but means that I've got more time away from home. But it's the only thing I can do because I'm turning so many people down at the moment, saying I'm not taking any more new starters. It's just unreal. I've never been in this position. It's phenomenal.
Are you coaching predominantly Taekwondo, or are you doing other mixed martial arts?
No, I don't. I got people from Taekwondo, but it's mainly 100% MMA. I was the first MMA coach in the country, along with people like Ian Freeman and a few others. And so as the sport grew, I tried to get it promoted. I started in '96. No one really knew what it was. It sounded barbaric. And then people was traveling Wales, all over the country just to come and train with me. It was a real honor. And a lot of them, in the end, started opening schools and just coming to me to find out a little bit of information, a bit more about the grappling, the wrestling, all the kickboxing, takedowns, cage defense, and then go back and build their school up. So a lot of the guys when I'm at shows, their instructors are guys that worked with me. And it was, for me, I'm not very selfish. They said, I got a school. I just want to learn how to promote the MMA there because it's growing, it's big. And I said, you're on the best path. I told them that MMA is going to be big. I started off from Taekwondo, kickboxing, MMA's end all and be all. And by rights, I was right. It's so big now. It's unreal.
Well, Mark, we really appreciate your time. Enjoy the weekend as well. And
okay, you too. Right, thank you for having me.
Cheers, Mark. Okay, there we have it. Great to speak to Mark Weir. Remember, all the MMA news as well, you can access it at skysports.com. We'll be building up to the next Bellator show very shortly as well. Goodbye for now.